Uh, Hi, ladies!
Hello.
Yay!
Hello.
Woo!
Finally.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Hi. Wow. Welcome. Hi. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can I just say thank you, first of all? Thank you so much for being a part of this. It's my dream, and I'm hoping my dream will also, be fulfilling for all of you. I'm hoping to learn from all of you. I'm hoping you can learn from me as well. This is our business boutique meeting. We're talking about this book here, Business Boutique by Christy Wright.
Yeah.
So it was just such a coincidence. First of all, my name is Jane or Janet. Some people know me, double personality, okay? Some people know me as Janet, and if you're really close to me, I'm Jane Ezocha. And I have, can we all introduce ourselves real quick?
My name is Chioma, and I have just one personality.
Okay.
My name is Shanita. I have many personalities.
Yes, we do. I agree.
Let us know who we are talking to at every point in time.
Right.
Okay.
My name is Uchenna Ijezi, and I believe I have one personality.
How many personalities do they have? One personality.
No, you don't have no one personality. Stop lying.
Oh gosh. Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited. So we're going to go through the introduction and the first chapter. It all starts with a story. I don't know if you all were able to go through these pages. I took some notes. I was showing my sister some highlighting. So I have the hard copy. Excuse those of you that have the Kindle, Chioma and Company, see my highlighting. Okay. But
some of us have moved on to the 21st century.
That's fine. I don't have a business. I don't have a business, but I've always wanted to own my own business for as long as probably before I even started having kids. It was always my dream. I'd make the confession, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to own my own business, I'm going to hire people. I've always wanted the flexibility of working for myself, being on my own schedule, being able to balance better time with my family, with my kids, and not have to report to anyone, being able to really earn a living, do what I love to do, what I'm really passionate about, and make money in doing it. And it's always been a challenge for me for, a lot of reasons, and it's still a dream. It nags me. It's what wakes me up at night sometimes, and so it's just turned into a passion of mine to speak to women that have been able to, first of all, accomplish that, at least start off, starting off a business and running it successfully and all that. So I was really, really excited when it was such a coincidence. A friend of mine told me about this book, and it just so happened that my sister, my older brother had gotten it as a gift for my sister as well, and it just happened during the same time frame. I just thought, okay, this might be God speaking. So I got the book for myself, and I started off. So that's kind of the history, the background behind this, and I've kind of dragged, all of you along with me on this journey. So I'm really, really excited. So it's not all about me. It's not all about me. Uche, can you say a little bit? Can we just talk a little bit about ourselves as far as our vision? I'm hoping that you all probably share the same vision and have probably started on your own journey where you are in this journey. Portia, Ben, starting off with you.
Yes. Hello, everybody. This book, too, when your family members see into your vision, it's almost like a success in itself. It's like so empowering that, family really is supporting your journey. And when my brother, God bless him, sent me this book, I was just like, wow, that's one more, little nugget of success, saying that, you know what, we believe in you, we support what you're doing, keep on rocking. This is another tool that can help you along the way. So I really appreciated it. I'm not a a good reader. So I'm still trying to exercise that habit, and seeing that my sister got the book, I was so excited. And with her saying she wants to start a book club, I'm like, woohoo! So that will help me finishing all these pages. To some, this is small. To me, this is a lot. So I'm really looking forward to working with you all to really digest this book and hopefully apply it to my business. I'm in the event planning business, and it's always, you're always learning every day. So hoping to learn from all of you, as well as learn from Christy, and see how I can apply that to my everyday living as well.
Nice. And Choma, how about you?
Well, I was going to do something.
You sure will.
So basically, I got this like 1.5 weeks ago. Me and Jane had this long conversation about being stuck in one place and trying to move ahead, trying to do all we can to achieve those things that we've had as dreams. In a sense, I am already a business owner. I've owned my own law practice for about 7 years now. I haven't been taking as much cases because of the changes in my personal life. I just had a baby 10 months ago. However, as time has gotten on, I've always known from when I was a child that I'm supposed to own a business. And my dreams as a child wasn't just about owning one business. I used to daydream quite a bit as a child, and one of my major daydreams that have stuck with me to this time is about owning like a chain of subsidiaries and a parent company. So something in the lines of a multinational. Along the way, after relocating to the U.S., I kind of dropped those dreams because you have those dreams, but the reality on ground, you start in life afresh in a new country, it didn't seem like my reality and my dreams could like come at the crossroads, So for the past few years, well, definitely more than few, that I've been in the U.S., it's been more about surviving, getting things. But I'm at that point in my life, I'll be 40 in 2 months. Well, less than 2 months, really, in about 6 weeks. I'm at that point in my life where it's no longer okay to just like do things just for survival. I want to feel a sense of fulfillment, a sense of accomplishment. And the main thing I said to Jane when we spoke last week was, I want to die empty. I want to leave this earth knowing that I've used all the gifts and talents and abilities that God has placed in me. I want to know that I am the best that I can be. I want to be able to set up a sustainable company, one that can be transferred from generation to generation, not just one that I do as a small business and that's it. I want to do something that is way better than the Walt Disney, and something that can go from generation to generation. All it takes is one person to say, okay, I can start this dream. So I want to be that person for my family. Of course, I want multiple streams of income. I love being comfortable. I'm not even going to lie about it. And I want, Uche, I do not like that smile on your face.
We do know.
I love being comfortable. I'm gonna keep, I have no regrets. I love my comfort. So I want multiple streams of income, and I'd like to retire early, travel the world and do stuff. But it's no longer just about the money, it's about a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. And so I'm hoping that while all these dreams is like experiencing a rebirth again in my life, that this book, while going through this, and hopefully other books and sharing experiences, that I'll begin to have better clarity for what I want to do, how to go about it. And someone said, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. And my dreams scare me because I'm like, oh, yeah, right, how are you going to do it from here? But anything is possible.
Yeah. Great.
Yes, it is. Wow, Chama, that's inspiring for me just listening to you. Very inspiring. Thank you. Shanita, Cece, how about you?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little background. I do CPR. I've been in business. I've been doing CPR for about 5 or 6 years, but I have had multiple businesses, and I'm going to give you the biblical side from it. I want all of y'all to know that you are all entrepreneurs working for God. Every one of us has a talent. He has given most of us multiple streams of talent that we have to go out into the field and do the work. I hear a lot of people saying, when they're not business owners. Like, Jane, when you said that you're not a business owner, you are a business owner. You are a mom, you are a wife, but we don't look at it as doing our regular daily jobs as businesses. I hear Miss Chima saying that she wants to leave her family an inheritance. She is leaving her family inheritance of what you have created, and because your family and your children will be able to look up to you and say, hey, my mom did do this. My mom did have her own business and stuff like that. So I hear a lot of stuff. Being a business owner, I hear a lot of feedback. Where's that noise coming from?
Somebody must have to system.
Are you on your phone? And so it sounds like that's a lot of echoing. It might be from you. You're dialed in, and you are also in the video conference, right?
Let me see.
I think you may have to hang up on one, Janita. Your phone. Are you dialed in with your phone?
Yes. So,
Your laptop too?
Yeah. Are you dialed into the audio with your phone? Are you dialed into the conference line with your phone as audio? Okay,
yes.
So I think you have to hang that up. I can hear you.
Yeah?
I don't know if it's your meat that we're hearing. All right. Okay, Nita, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Shanita.
Can you hear us? Looks like you've lost the audio.
I can hear whoever spoke now, even though I don't know who spoke.
Yeah, Cece.
Cece, looks like you lost your audio.
I'm sending her a private message, see if she can hear us.
Okay.
So, anyway, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I want you guys not to lose hope. I've been in this, because as you guys were talking, I'm also listening to you and Holy Spirit at the same time, and I am truly in sync with Holy Spirit when it comes to businesses and stuff like that. I have not personally gone out and gotten a book as of yet. I will go out this weekend, and this will actually be my 5th book that I am reading this week. So I am like juggling. I told Jane and I told Uchenna, more books. So right now I am currently reading 4 books at one time.
Wow.
So y'all are pushing me. Y'all are pushing me past my limit. I love to be stretched to my next level.
This makes me feel feel very lazy.
That's what we're hoping we'll do.
Yeah.
You said what?
That's what we're hoping to do, to stretch each other.
Stretch each other.
Right. So I see all of us as rubber bands. So God is stretching you. When you feel like, when you scared, I heard Chima say that she fear, right?
Yes.
You can't, you have to face it. Face that fear with faith. Because that's what the enemy wants us to do. He knows what we are scared of. But are you going to be bold enough and stand up for what God has told you guys to do? If God has given you a vision, write it down. And you keep confessing that vision until it comes to pass. So I don't want to hear from this point on, I don't want to hear nobody say, I don't have a business. Because you create your atmosphere. You create it. So if God said, let there be light, when it was dark, he said, let there be light, and there was light. James, do you have a business? Yes, you have a business. Chima, do you have multiple streams of businesses that with multiple streams of income?
I do.
Yes, you have multiple streams of income. And the same with you, Uche. I tell you all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me. But so don't be.
Thank you.
Okay. So look, you see me.
Thank you.
I hear you. Smack on my wrist. I got smack on my wrist. Look, you set me straight.
Yes. It almost feels like she was there, like smacking it out of our mouth. We needed that. Thank you.
But what I'm saying is, don't you know? I want y'all to know that Holy Spirit is with y'all, and that I hear from Him even when y'all don't hear from Him. So I may cut y'all off and be like, and I may find myself correcting all of y'all. Be like, no, stop, don't say that. This is what I want you to say, because God is. You are. I am. God is. I am. So He created us in the image, the same image of Him. So we are. I am. So all of us have, He's given everyone a talent, but it's only us that we have to get the talent. We have to find out what the talent is that He has given to us.
I wrote it down. All right.
I am an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I am. Yes.
Right. I am.
I own businesses. I run my own businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. I am. Yes.
And don't let nobody tell you that.
Thank you for that.
And just to piggyback off of what Cece said, I was reading this other book, not related to the book we're reading, but just to piggyback off what she said, and it's the names of God. You know how there are different names for God for different situations: El Shaddai, Rapha, Jehovah Shalom, you know. Then it says, I am that I am. And so one day I was sleeping and I just got this revelation that that is the name you use when you don't know what other name is appropriate for your situation. Because at that point in time, what God is basically telling you is that he is anything you want him to be. Whatever you need him to be in that situation, that's what he is. And it's good that you told us this to remind us of this, Stacey, because those are declarations we need to get in the habit of making. Wake up in the morning, say those words of affirmation, declare what the Bible says that we are, and let that set up the tune for the rest of our days.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that lovely reminder.
And then when you, I'm going to add this little tidbit.
Thank you. Wow. Thanks for putting that in context.
When you wake up in the morning and you do your daily devotions, because I wake up, he started waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning, all this week. And I started my daily confessions every morning at 3 o'clock, every morning, all this week. When you do your daily confession, he's already given us, he's already told us what we have. But God is not going to give us anything until we remind him of what he said that he told us that we can have. So I call God back. Like if I'm going through something in my business, God, you said, your word says that if I give, it shall be given back to me, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So you got to make this come through. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. This is what your word says. So what I do is I go throughout the Bible. You know, and I study the Bible throughout the day, but I go through and I call those things that be not that you know, as though they are. So that's what y'all got to confess. You call those things. He's been to our end, and then he went back to our beginning. So we just gotta remind him. He knows what we want, but we have to ask him. I think it's in Matthew. I think it's like Matthew 7:27. Knock, you know, knock and you shall. I think it's like.
Knock and the door shall be opened unto you.
Yes.
Is that what you're thinking? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Seek
so
and you will find. Knock.
Yep. That is my favorite scripture. But it's up to us for us to knock. Because God's voice is so soft. He don't yell. He don't do none of that. I'm telling y'all, he don't do none of that. So we just got to get our mindset, you know, in him first. And then when you go to him and you say, hey, I want to do this business, you really want to seek God in, is that the business that he wants you to do? Because you have to make sure that the business that you're getting ready to go in, how is it going to, how is that business going to bring that, what the business that you want to do, is that what God wants you to do? Because we're all about kingdom business. How is that business going to benefit God? How is that business going to benefit the people of God? So even though I teach CPR, I teach CPR, what I end up doing is I always bring God up in it. Because somebody's always asking me, like I taught a class early this morning, someone asked me, well, how did you get into CPR? And I tell them God. Because God is breath of life. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Right.
You just gotta, anything that you go out and do, always seek God first, because he may tell you, no, that's not for you. That's not for you. And when he tells you that this is what I want you to do, the money is going to come. It's going to come and it's going to overflow.
And
Great.
yeah.
Wow.
I believe that. You know, Christy, as her first chapter, is really interesting how we've kind of flowed into the subject, because she started off with, it all starts with a story, and she she kind of drew the example from her mom. So her mom landed on tough times. Her mom got a divorce from her dad, and got into this financial crunch, and so she said that her mom started to recall and trying to figure out what to do with, what business could she run. She said her mom started to recall things that she always loved to do. And I don't know if you and Uche and Choma, both of you that started running an organization, if you can identify with that, because I underlined it. She said her mom went back to something she had always known, something she had always loved. And for her mom, it was making cakes. And from that, it flowed into an idea. She came up with this idea. She started seeing opportunities, and I just wondered, I think that sometimes when we start thinking in that direction, you start seeing opportunities you never used to see. And her mom, found an opportunity in a store. The storefront was empty, and she just thought, of this, idea to use that storefront to display her cake. So she brought in business for herself and also brought in business for the bigger store. And I just wondered if you all can identify with that, as far as when you started thinking in the line of, what can I do? What you're doing now, is it in line with, what you've always kind of been, the natural interest that you've always had, you've always seen in yourself growing up, or was this just totally new? Because I think either way, it's going to take a leap of faith, even if it's something that you're used to, something you've been doing for years. It's going to take a leap of faith to jump on the idea. But I just wonder, does it always, and that's kind of what I've struggled with. And I believe by the grace of God, I'm overcoming that in Jesus' name. This is a start. This thing we're doing right now, can I just say, is victory for me. Where we are right now is a miracle. It's an answer to prayer. It's a confirmation. This is my business. This is part of it here. So I just want to take that moment to just praise God for this moment. A lot of times, I don't know if that's always the case. Looks like we've lost Cece.
Yes.
Your business, is it always usually in line with something you've always loved?
For me personally, the answer is no. For me, the answer is no. The business that I have right now is my immigration law practice. It's just sort of something I kind of fell into after I got licensed and everything. I just decided, okay, I'm going to be doing this on the side. Is it something I've always wanted to do? The answer to that question is no. And so that's one of the things that stuck out to me when reading Christy's book, because I was like, what is that dream that I've always had? What is that thing I've always wanted to do? And so I've been forced to start reliving those childhood dreams that I had that I felt were not in tune or in line with my reality in this country. And I've just been asking myself the question, and who says I can't start now? It wasn't my reality then. It's not my reality now, but I can create a new reality. And so just like when we were talking last week, Jane, and I said to you, the thing is to do something, even if it's just one thing, two things, three things, every day, every week, have the goal of accomplishing one thing towards that. And the much I have learned about God, I have come to realize that God will not make the first step for us. It's like in the Bible, oftentimes when people asking for things, if we look in the context of what he always asked them, it was more like, what is it in your hand? So God will only bless that which we have, which we've started to use. So if we don't start to use those gifts, those things that God has given us, then there's nothing, he's just going to sit down looking at us. It's like someone who says, oh, I have $1 million to give you for your business. The person doesn't, it's not saying, I have $1 million to give you. That's saying specific for your business. So until you have a business, you're not going to access that $1 million. So, and the only way, and as I'm saying this, I'm saying this is like one of the lessons, one of the things I've been struggling with, thinking about, telling myself every day. The only way we're going to get beyond this is to move beyond, as my husband calls it, inertia. My husband says inertia is the biggest killer of dreams, because you sit back, you think and think and think and think and think, and you don't get up, you don't do anything. So the dream is there looking at you. So there's no movement. But until you get up and you take one step, it might be an inconsequential step. But as Christians, we know that if we start off taking that one step, we can say, God, can you please bless this tiny step I'm about to take? And I can tell you that in the past 1 week, God has done amazing things for me beyond what I believed possible, you know. And it all started with taking a simple step. There's this certification I've always wanted, never been in a position to be able to afford it because it costs thousands and thousands of dollars. Then last year, it came up that, okay, there was an opportunity to start up the process of doing it. And, of course, I was so tired. It was just me and the baby. I didn't have help then, you know. But my husband practically, like, the man hounded me to go ahead and sign up for it. I think part of it is he knows I hate wasting money. So he knew that once I paid that money, I would get my behind off. So I paid the money, went for the conference in Atlanta, and was very, very, very sick. So I came out feeling very bad, like I started this thing and I couldn't even complete it. Look at, I've wasted this money. Oh, who knows if they'll let me do it again without paying all those thousands of dollars. And just this week, I got confirmation. They were like, oh, yes, the part that you did take part in, you passed. And I was like, oh, really? As sick as a dog as I was, you know, barely participating, they were like, yeah, you passed. And even though you didn't get to the ultimate part, which is the fellowship you wanted, you're just a step away from it. You got to this other part. That wasn't what you were looking for, but hey, it wasn't a waste. Oh, by the way, too, whenever you're ready, you can come complete the other part. And so that in and of itself just sort of like was a confirmation to me personally from God that even when we think, no, because when I look back at my 2017, I go like, what did I achieve this year? And everybody goes like, you had a baby, that is major. And I know like, yes, having a baby is major. It's an accomplishment of a kind, but I wanted something more. And so what happened for me this week was I was able to look at that, and I actually opened my mouth and I said to my husband, you know, I don't feel like my 2017 was a waste anymore. I did achieve something. I didn't get to where I thought I would get, but I did achieve something. And it's given me a renewed vitality to go for other things.
Right. Wonderful.
Well, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Uche, how about you?
And I almost line up with Christy's words in terms of diving back to what, you know, something of old or something in your youth. Coordination, being a prefect in school, just like to be in the front, you know, directing people where to go. Decor from my mom, I've had decoration stuff, always has things need to be in its right place. You know, what's not, you know, always trying to host family and friends. So I think, you know, me going into this or having done this on the side, you know, all this while, is really, when Christy says going back to your youth or something of old, is probably correct in my situation. Yeah.
Wow. So I guess it's very, I kind of like the fact that we're, again, different parts of this, we're in different parts of this journey together. But so I guess there's no rule behind it. Sometimes it could be, your business or businesses could be related to something or things that you've always loved. And sometimes it could be a brand new discovery, something, new. And I think that's kind of the takeaway for me, is to be flexible, give myself the permission to do something new. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something I've always been used to, something I've always loved. Because, I mean, that really stagnated me for a long time, because I just thought, goodness, I don't know. I'm seeing the event planners, the decorators, the doctors, the fashion designers. I'm trying to, the bakers, I'm trying to, find out where I fit in all of that.
Right.
As far as growing up and all that, and I just never saw it, and that really, I think it prevented me from seeing the present. Cece has talked about, listening to the voice of God, Him speaking. You have to be open, you have to be flexible, you have to be open. You can't just, it's not one way. God isn't, he isn't, he's multidimensional. He can work in many, 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 many more ways than we can imagine. I think that's what I'm learning. But that's interesting. I also underlined on page 3. She also said, there's something she said, and that was kind of, I think that's really motivating. She said, because of what her mom went through and what she eventually was able to do, she said it kind of paved the way for her. I'm paraphrasing. She said, her story of struggle is my own story of struggle, but her story of victory is my own victory as well. She said, seeing my mom step into her gifts and make things happen is what pushes me and challenges me and inspires me to do the same. So that was really inspiring for me too. I think that it's important for us to be able to set that example for the kids. I've become a little more conscious of that, that my kids are watching, and it's just really critical for me to set the right foundation for them. If they see it in me and my husband, then they know it's doable. They know it's doable. And we can set them in that direction as well. Because I would actually like them to be able to be business owners. And Chioma talked about starting off a legacy, that will flow through the generations. I think that's the dream. I certainly have that dream as well. So I'd like them to have that mentality right from the start, that you don't have to. It's not that it's okay as well to come out working for people, but to be able to graduate from school and or even before graduation, put some the structure in place that run their own organization. So I don't know if that struck a chord with you when you were reading Chioma, and of course Christy and Uche, if that means anything to you as far as setting the example for your kids, for your daughter or your future daughters. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, for me, one thing it made me, when I was reading this part, one thing it made me remember was my mother. Me and my mother are dimensional opposites. So if I'm remembering her, that is major. But one thing I remember is that while growing up, she always had businesses. And it's funny how I never thought about it until I read the book. It's really funny how I never thought about it until I read the book. Then I remembered that. My mom retired as a high school principal. But at every point in our life, down to when she was a student and we were living with my dad, my mother almost always managed to run businesses. Be it going to Benin Republic, to Cotonou, Togo, those places, to bring in George materials, Ankara materials, GL jewelry. She would drive down herself. And for us Nigerians, we know that's major when a woman can get behind the steering, drive from Enugu to Lagos, not to talk of driving from Lagos to all these other places. She would drive down herself, go buy those things, and sell it to the people she was working with, and when she was in school, sell it to fellow students. So she always had a way of making. I remember when it was a fad all of a sudden for people to learn how to make bar soap in Nigeria. My mother was part of that fad. All of a sudden, she decided that she would not be buying soap for washing clothes in the house, that she had to bake it. And people like her dear daughter did not like that because somehow those soaps they made always had so much caustic soda and it would eat off a little part of your fingers. And I hated that, you know, till of course I went and spoke in my daddy's ear. This woman wants to kill me. You need to stop her from doing this. We need soap. When it came to Stella Pomade, my house was a factory for Stella Pomade. Let's not go into the copyright and trademark issues, you know. These teachers just did not care, okay? We had our homegrown factories. They would make it, bottle it in those Stella Pomade bottles, and go sell it to people in the market who had stores, you know. When you think about, oh my goodness, you would not believe how my mother sold newspapers. My poor father bought newspapers for reading, you know, but in 3 months you couldn't find not even one single one in the house. My mother had sold them all. Each time my father changed tires, he would change tires and want to just give it out to the vulcanizers. My mother discovered there was a market for second-hand tires. Those tires were sold. So we used to grow up, and this made me think about it. She had poultry. Oh, we got tired of chicken. We hated chicken. She had poultry. She had like all this in the compound, within our compound. She would start off a poultry, she would start it off and like do, you know, have the eggs and everything. For the chickens she feels are acting funny, they'll be killed off fast, you know. She would fry them and do all kinds of things and go sell them to the teachers in school. So name it, I'm telling you, my mother discovered there was money in baking cakes. All of a sudden, she became a baker.
Oh, your mom was courageous. She was daring.
The woman was courageous, which is part of why I quarrel with her a lot. Because I'm like, so why is it when I want to do stuff, all you tell me is all the negatives about what I want to do? I don't want to hear it. So that's
well, that's
even now. Even now, you see that, you know, she retired, but she was still willing to come back to this country and start all over again to work because she wants to set up a business. Then, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you all the businesses my mother has run. And then when my father left work, she decided he was going to Germany and other countries to bring in cars and to bring in both cars that were used and new cars and spare parts. Oh, my mother was the chief salesperson. All my father knew was going to Germany and other countries. How the goods were sold, he had no clue. Before the goods, my mom did things to the extent that she sold goods that were not there.
So with that example, how did it impact you? With that sort of example, how do you think it impacted you or not impacted you? Did you rebel against that, or do you feel that it's kind of led you to where you are now? What are your thoughts? Because I just wonder with that, your mom being that reason.
It didn't lead me to where I am now, because one of the first things I said that me and my mother are dimensional opposites. Okay, so having said all these courageous things, all these bold things my mom did, I was able to also tell that everything she did, she had a limit. And so one of the things the book forced me to do is to try to take away the positives. It forced me to start thinking about the positives of what she's done, whereas before I always focused on the negatives, which was like while she was doing those businesses, I was always more forward-sighted, like, okay, why are we stopping here? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And she would always shut those things down. But what the book forced me to do was recognize and acknowledge the things she did, okay? And while I've done that, I also can tell you I am not going to do things the way she did. Because one key thing that you should all take away from what I'm telling you, none of those businesses, every single one of them, none of them is standing right now. Okay? So in as much as she had the courage to start, she did not have the foresight for sustainability. So that's something I want to make sure that I just don't want to start businesses. I want things that are sustainable, that would be, I want in 50, 60 years' time, Walt Disney is no longer alive. However, every year he's celebrated because he laid the foundation and the groundwork for the business that is right now. So I want to be able to be courageous like she was, to set those things up. But I want to be able to do it in a smarter way, to set up things that are sustainable. I want to be able to change with changing times. I want to be able to not limit myself, not just to think just this little way, and that's it. I don't know if that answers your question, Jane.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Jane, I can't hear you. Okay, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me? It definitely does, Choma, because you've stated, you know, like as part of the first chapter with Christy, you know, what Christy Wright was illustrating. It's everything you said is all part of your why. Everything you said is all part of your why.
I never
you know,
thought
it sounds
of that.
like you're very, very clear. Yes,
wow.
It's all part of your why. You're very definitive.
I didn't see you said it.
Write it down.
Wow. No, please see me write it.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do. You know, it sounds like that's all part of your why because you're very clear, very, very clear, very definitive, very emphatic about it. And that's what's going to continue to push you. That's what's going to get you up during moments of discouragement because as I'm learning, you know, there are always those times when you might feel a little down. Things may not be working as you want them to work, as quick as you want them to work, but it's that why, Choma. You're very, very clear on exactly why. And I love that. I love that passion and clarity. Uche, can you identify with that too? Is there a why that drives you? Yes, you've always been the creative person, and I just, it's the fact, but, huh?
Shanita.
Yes.
Yes.
Shanita.
Why?
Did you hear Choma? She was very clear on her why, exactly why she's pursuing what she's pursuing now, things she saw in her mom that she definitely does not want to repeat, some of the mistakes, you know, in as much as her mom was very driven and bold. But, you know, she was, I don't know if you were able to catch, you know, most of what she was saying. I just wonder, can you identify with that? Is there a why that pushes you beyond, you know, something that you've always loved to do when you were younger? Or, you know, is there something you saw in your mom or your dad that you want to, you find yourself trying to emulate? Or is there something you see, you remember of them that you're like, never again, I'm going to learn from their mistakes and I'm not going to do things that way? Or maybe not your parents, maybe a family member, a neighbor, a teacher, something like that, or some role model when you were younger. Do you see any of that in yourself right now, or, you know, behind what drives you every day?
Okay, so coming from a family, my family's background with parents who never been married. My mom really never worked. My dad was always out of the house working. I knew back then that I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to spend time with my children. And, you know, I wanted to have a balance. So I knew that I had to be more than what my parents were, and I knew that I had to be the one to break the generational curse on both sides of the family. And the generational curse was, okay, my mom, she always, you know, she didn't have a job. You know, I knew that she was going the system with the government, and I knew that I needed to be the one to break that curse. Did I break that curse? Absolutely. Did I break the curse with my dad on my father's side out of all of the children? Yes, I was able to break the curse because I was able to be an entrepreneur without have to go outside of the house to work and still had time to know what my children were doing. Now I know how to raise my children to be entrepreneurs. So, I mean, I can identify, even though I haven't read the book, I'm still listening to you guys, but I'm also working at the same time.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. I like that. I like that. I like that. Which you and I had the same background.
I know. Yeah.
You know, so our mom did not work.
And I can honestly say
it's the fact that my mom, though very educated, didn't have an official 9 to 5 for the most part. So she did work for a while, but for the most part she was home with us. So I think if there's anything from where I am now or where we are, Jane, is that drive to have something of our own, whether it's doing a 9 to 5 and getting a salary of our own, whether it's, you know, I think that really affected me a lot, that even when I'm on maternity leave, I still find the need to work and do something to still bring in something of my own, because, you know, while, you know, our dad was a caregiver, you know, it limited, you know, your own ability to exercise that liberty of, you know, what you wanted to do for yourself, you know, from a wife standpoint. So I think I've taken that into my married home too, where I feel like, okay, you know, my husband has offered many a times that, you know, stay home, take care of the kids. I just need you to cook, handle this. I'm like,
Welcome to my present world.
Wow, that sounds luxurious. I'm like, I still need some coins in my own little purse, you know, somewhere. So I think that's been a major drive. Something I find I've not been able to live up to is just her creativity. I mean, like, you know, Choma, hearing the things you're saying about your mom, you know, how she, you know, always kept busy. Like, no matter if this business fails, she's moving on to the next one, you know. On my mom's side, it's more on the creative side. You know, she was always, whether it's paper, scissors, sewing thread, I can't keep up. The baking, I mean, sometimes I look at my kids and I'm like, oh God, poor children. I'm not giving them half of what my mom gave us, you know. And I don't know if it's because of parenting time, because we were working and trying to run a home, but she was home with us, you know. And I just look at the kids and I'm like, am I really doing enough for them? You know, is
Yes, you are.
Is it time for me to step back and realize that it's no longer about me, it should be about them, and then give them that fulfilled, childhood that they need? Or do I try to do both? But definitely past is really a driving factor in my teacher, from what I'm seeing, in my current now, from what I'm seeing. I'm always trying to compare, are we doing enough? Am I making a difference? Our parents did a lot with the opportunity they have. Am I doing enough and more with the opportunity I have for my kids? So that's been a question I always ask myself, so that way each generation is building upon the past.
Yeah, I remember you speaking, our mom was always home, but you remember there are those few years that she got into, she's always been baking, but a friend of ours introduced this idea of her catering out desserts and things like that, right? Some
yes, the pastry.
Snacks to, some of these corporate offices downtown Lagos, and so I think that's kind of a perfect example as far as what Christy was trying to illustrate. Find something you've always loved, as far as living your passion, because that was definitely a passion of hers. And I, as young as I was then, I still remember the changes in her. I could tell. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed emotionally, what that did. Even the general buzz in the family was something for us to see our mom working and earning her own money and doing what she loved. I mean, we'd stay up late. I don't know. Do you remember? It didn't matter. We'd stay up late into the night, coming up with the right recipes, for the meat pies, for the turnovers. Remember the apple turnovers? And, the cupcakes and things like that. And we didn't even remember how tired we were, and I had to get up early and take those with me and commute downtown, and bring, and then be so happy coming back with the money. Remember, coming back with the money, and our younger brother was the treasurer, and and I remember when it was time to go back to school, I was so proud to see that my mom was able to each give us, some money to go buy something that we wanted, which was just a luxury at that time, So I remember that. I always remember that. For some reason, it didn't last so long. It lasted over a couple of years, but I remember that. Not just financially what it did for us, but again, the change in my mom, precisely, right, emotionally and all that. So that means a lot to me. But in informing the why, because that's part of what chapter 1 is about, in being clear about your why. I think I want to come back to what Cece had said, that it's not just only about what we've always loved or been into, but as people of God, it's about glorifying God's name. How is this going to bring glory to God? I think that's the bottom line. First, that comes first above anything else. And when we put that first, and put God first, then all other things, I think, begin, to happen and, becomes clearer for us. Putting that in the right spot first. How is it going to work out? And I think God is interested in our own passion. God, I really believe that, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. He planted those, the passion in us. He planted the talent in us. He gave us the gifting and the vision. So in pursuing those, I'm also believing that it's my way of also bringing glory to Him. And hopefully, one directly or indirectly, whatever we do would also be in service to other people. Yeah, I'm sure you're finding that in what you do. Choma, with your your practice, I'm sure you found a lot of joy in being able to help people with their cases. So that's a bottom line.
And Jane, for you,
so
because you might not see this.
Be able to.
Jane, let me say something to you. What you might also not realize is you are also in the business of helping, because just in setting this group up, like until you told me, Choma, that's your why, it never dawned on me that was my why. That was the reason why the minute you said it, I started writing. Because after reading it, I was like, okay, what's my why? Yes, I know I want multiple streams of income. Who wouldn't love that? But I needed a why that was deeper than that. Because the things that are sustainable are the whys that are deeper. And Jane, for you, your why, from all the businesses you've shared with me, the ideas you've shared with me over the years, your why is to help people. Your why is to help people, be it from them not falling into the hands of vendors who are shady. That was your why for that business you had. When we talked about the project you wanted to do for your master's, that was your why. You wanted a more efficient system for that nursing home, okay? And generally other nursing homes, okay? This group right here that you've started, it's also part of your why. It's your helping people continue. Because you're bringing us all together to learn how to be able to put it in our head, but to be able to be clearer, have a clearer picture of why are we doing this? What is it we're doing? So that is your why, helping people.
Yes. I think.
Yes. Certainly.
I'm just
where Posh Event is today cannot be without that empowerment.
Yes.
On a daily basis. So that helping, that's showing insights, drawing attention to some certain areas. I think you have a very specialized skill in seeing the better parts in people and trying to empower those parts of people.
Yes,
to
I
get
agree.
them to the next step. So
I agree.
This, really, really exemplifies that part of, your why. As in, why do you do this? Why do you seek to help others? Really, that's what it is. Seeking to help and empower others to get to their next potential, or to live to their optimum potential. You're writing it down?
Look, I'm writing down. Choma, my turn to write.
And for you, Uche, I'm not about to say something now that I've not said to you before. Right. Before you started Porsche and everything, from the moment I spoke to you about my wedding, I said to you, Uche, you have this natural gift, this natural knack of being able to organize things, of being able to, you have the personality of being able to, even in the midst of a war, bring some kind of cool-headedness, okay? Get people to refocus their energies on all that. I saw that at my wedding, and all that, but that is something which I'd always seen in you. Okay, because sometimes it's hard for us to figure out what our gifts are. It's very hard for me. I am still trying to figure out what my natural giftings are. I am still, if you all know of any trainings or books or whatever, feel free to let me know, because that is my one big thing. I need to figure out what I have a natural, because I told my husband, I was like, I feel like I have a natural knack for so many things that it almost feels like I'm jack of all trades, master of none. you know, that I want to know what I have a natural gifting for, because sometimes those are the things that would also help to take us to the next level. Even if you set up a company, knowing how to use your giftings, your natural giftings, to take your company to the next level. And in knowing what your natural giftings are, you also realize the things you do not have a natural gifting for, and you learn to delegate those things. Right. That is one thing that I'm learning from my husband. Like, sometimes I get mad, like, why are you leaving me with this stuff? You don't even help me with this stuff. And he gives me a blank look like, I should help you with that stuff. It's like, no, that's not my area. You're very good at it. My only job when it comes to things like that is to make sure you have the resources to do those things. Am I going to sit here and check on those things for you? No, I'm not. And so it made me think back like, oh, wow, that's true. But in my mind, he should be helping me with everything. And he's like, I'm not going to be any help to you because I don't have a natural gift, and I don't know what you're talking about half the time when you talk about this thing. You see something and you already have a picture in your mind, you're talking, and he's like, all I can do as a good leader is step out of the way and allow you to use and develop your natural ability. All I can do in that case is make sure you have the enabling environment in terms of having the peace and emotional balance to do it, having the resources if we can afford it, or trying to help find the resources. That's it. Then it changed my thinking, you know. So certain things in the house, we don't even talk about them. I just go ahead and I implement. And I just tell him, hey, I did this. And he goes like, oh, okay, and keeps it moving. While certain things that have to do with patience, I know I do not have any. I just shift it to him and go like, because you know if I answer this person, they will not like the answer. Why don't you answer them on my behalf? You know? So in as much as I say it and it's funny, but one of the things I personally am hoping by the time we're done with this is that you all would also help me see what my natural gifts, talents, and abilities are. Jay, remember what I told you last week, that I'm always good in seeing other people's problem and the solutions to it, but I never see my own problems or my solution. I don't see my own problems or my solution. So how is that useful to me?
I'm writing it down, Shoma. Shoma would like us to help her to see her own.
You know, when people tell me their problems, I have a very analytical mind. I can analyze and see how to get there.
You are already mentioning your talents, my dear.
I don't know if that's really a talent, because it's only useful to other people. It's not useful to me.
No, see, you know, and you know what, Shoma? You're reminding me of me, you know, because I struggled. You know, what you both of you were saying about me, I'm so emotionally touches me, you know, but I have to tell you that I have struggled with that thought, because for me, that's not a talent. It's not a valid talent, even that we're, and you know, so I think one thing as we discover ourselves through the, you know, this journey we're on, you know, one thing I'm asking myself is, you know, be unapologetic, first of all, even if it doesn't make sense to other people. You know, that's your story, that's you, that's who you are. And it may not be the picture that we're used to, but that's who you are. Because I struggle with, why do I have to be the person that is helping other people to, you know, I want to have to be the creative person. I want to be the person that can make that. You know, like, that's not a talent. Talent, helping other people with their talent, is not a talent. You know, like, it's so frustrating for me. Like, seriously, why does it have to be I'm the person that has a talent in helping other people with their talent? I want the real talent. That's not a talent. You know? And so I think where you are now, that's fun, because you know what you're good at. You've said it for yourself, you know, Joanne. You know what you're. good at you're good at helping other people solve their problems. You're very analytical, and it's true because talking with you, once I mentioned something. I mean, Choma, we talked last weekend, and I have all these design ideas in my head. I know exactly what I want in my living room. I know exactly what I want. So that's a talent. That's a talent. But it sounds like you're doing more. You're struggling with accepting it as a valid
talent.
Something that is valid and acceptable. True. That's the question. That's the question. That's the question. And through prayer and this sort of fellowship, I'm hoping that this group will grow. We'll get to, hear from other people too in their journey. Maybe some, further into their journey, and maybe some just starting off. But John, I'm really praying. I really believe, Lord, if you really set me in this place, that He will confirm, His word and help us, speak to us. At the point of our needs, each of us.
Yeah.
Because that's my question too. How do I turn it into a business? And when the idea drops in you, it's probably going to be vague. It's probably not going to be really clear. It's going to be really fuzzy. But Choma, like you said, remember you said it's all about taking the first step, taking that first step.
Yeah.
Even if it's a baby step, like your husband said. Even if it seems like a step that's so inconsequential, as long as you take just one move, and for me, this is my little move, and for you, Choma, this might be that little one-step move. You know what I mean? Amongst other things that you're doing, but as long as every day, every week, we're inching in, it will get clear. I mean, you take that leap of faith and you take that step. It's like a baby. I thought about it. A baby learning how to walk. They don't think about it. They just get up, and they take that first step without thinking about it. You know what I mean? And then they fall and then they try again. But there isn't much thought, not much calculation that goes on there. When they start calculating, that's when they fall. When they start thinking too hard, that's when they fall.
You know what? I need to write that piece of nugget.
When you think too much about it, that's when you fall.
Yes, when you think too much about the step you're about to make, that's when you fall.
That's when you fall.
That's when you fall.
You put it off.
Yeah, you put it off. You postpone, procrastinate. But even if, no matter how unclear or fuzzy it looks, just take that step. Just, make that phone call. You know what I mean? Just whatever that tiny little step could be, just to do it. And I think as you do, that's your confirmation of your faith. Choma, you said that, God doesn't ask first. He's waiting on us to ask. He's giving us all that we need, the tools that we need. He's empowered us. He's given us the grace. And so we're, waiting on Him, waiting for that voice. Man, I've been waiting for that voice for years. I'm telling you. That's actually I've been waiting for that voice. God, just tell
you
me.
And me.
Tell me, I'll hit the ground.
You're waiting for that eureka moment, where the light bulb goes and you go like, eureka, I got it. Woo! You and me both.
I know, it doesn't. I don't think it usually comes that way. I think it's small baby steps, and it's always a leap of faith. It's always a leap of faith because not everything is clear at that point. I think that's where I have been stuck, is waiting to see the big picture, waiting to see the full picture and the big picture.
You know what?
You don't usually see this.
Somebody once said that sometimes if God shows us all the steps needed to get where we need to be, that we might never make the first step because we'll go like, oh, this is going to be so hard. He only shows us in bits and pieces so that when we finish this set of obstacles, we go like, oh, I accomplished it. When the next step comes, we go like, oh, we didn't see this, but it's here. I don't want to go back. I have no option but to keep solving.
Yeah.
So that sometimes when He lets us see the big picture, then we feel like we don't have what it takes. Part of why I'm like the fact that we're recording it is it's going to be good for us to play this back later. We're going to be shocked at even the things that came out of our own individual mouths.
I know.
So,
believe that, honestly. I believe that when we listen back and we be like, I said that, what? Let me write down what I said. You know?
I know.
I really I really believe that. I've learned a lot. I don't know if you, okay, at the back, which I know you may not have gone to this point, there are, so the whole idea about this book, she's trying to make it practical, and she has, at the end of every chapter, some action items that if you pay attention to them and you answer those questions, at the end of the book, you should have put together a framework, actually probably more than a framework, but you have built the foundation for which you can create a business plan, you know, from everything you've written down. So she wanted us to start with writing down what are the things you've loved, you know, I've always loved, blah, 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 just a way of
where do you
making
see that?
your story.
That part is not in my book, in my Kindle version, or Jane.
In the Kindle, okay. I think I need to download it, Choma. I think there's a PDF. There's an attachment that comes with the book. I don't know if you got to see when you were making the purchase.
It's in the hard copy. A website she goes that you should download forms and all that to be able to fill out.
Yes, I think so, yes.
Okay, I'll check on it.
Yes. Download, yeah, because what it has is, you know, chapter 1, action items. Let's apply what you've learned. Okay, so inspirations for your business. What have you loved? Finish the sentence below with any ideas that come to your mind. Just trying to help you to recall, helping us to recall things that we've always loved. If we want to make that connection, because her goal particularly is for us to be able to apply what we love to do into a business, to turn that into a business. So, you know, I've always loved da, and she has like 3 options. If you come up with more, we can list more, you know, past or, you know, things more, you know, things that we could probably draw from in our recent life. What's your story? What are some puzzle pieces from your life story that might help you identify your why? And Choma, again, that brings me to you, everything that you said. I'm really amazed with, you know, with what you expressed, you know. So I'd like us, I don't know when next we'll be able to meet, hopefully next week, or if you make this a bi-weekly thing, but to have at least really...
Week, I need to get on my dreams fast, so next week.
Yes, me too. Me too, sister, me too. You know, I'm usually not the person that will write down these action items, but you know, I started mine, you know, the last time I took a go at this book. So let's hold each other accountable. But one thing I wanted to do to also make sure that we're moving the needle no matter what is for each of us. We've listened to each other. I wish Cici had to drop off briefly. She said she might join us before we end, but before we end this call, can we hold each other accountable? You know, based on where we are right now, this is the very beginning. Are there actionable items that we can assign to each other and hold each other accountable to accomplishing that, and you have to speak to that the next time we meet, to have either accomplished it or done?
For me, I think something I'd like to see each of us do. So one thing that is clear to me is that some of us were sort of sure of our why, but weren't like convinced about it. So now that we've had this talk, we've all forced each other to go think about different things that we didn't see, to actually take out time between now and the next time we meet to write down those whys. You know, if it means going to buy a journal that will dedicate just to this, to write down those whys, what our whys are, and to start praying with those whys. Also, in writing down the whys, some prayer points from our whys. Okay? Since one of my whys is I want to be able to go beyond what my mother did, not just setting up many businesses, but actually setting down something sustainable. You know, one of my prayer points will be, God, give me the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that I need to set up a sustainable business, one which lives beyond me into generation, one that I can leave as an inheritance to my children, to my family, to my generation, to the world. So just something, and then start using those to pray. And maybe in the time of our prayer, God will begin to open our eyes to see what we should be doing.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I've written those down. Mm-hmm. To what are our whys and their form prayer points from those whys. I like that. I've written that down. And I know that even though you started, you've gotten a business off the ground, you're beginning to see some profit from it. But I wonder if you dug deep into these questions, how it could change, the way you do things, maybe expand your vision. Your current vision, expand the direction, expand a little bit on what you're doing or enhance what you're doing. I just wonder,
go beyond David.
Maybe you've already gone through this.
Go beyond David to Sarah and become the household name. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I this might be a little off topic, but someone told me something that I was watching one lady. Joko Tade is her name, so make sure I'll give her the credit. Remember, she was saying that one thing she's learned is to build her brand around her personality and not around her product. Because if your product changes, your customers will only move with you because of who you are. And that's why you see people going into new things, and you're like, what has this person got to do with blah, blah, blah? And you see the person still has the customer base and the fanfare and all that. It's because that person probably built their brand around their personality, who they are. They probably found out that was where their strength,
wow,
that's where their strength lies, So I'm just saying that to, trying to make the connection behind our whys. I think if we understand our whys, like if we understand, and I'm going to send you guys a link. I listened to a talk that Oprah gave, and there's a part of it that just brought me to tears, and it was like a light bulb moment for me as well. And it's difficult for me to paraphrase because there was so much in it, but it was pretty much also, she talked about empowering yourself. Empowering yourself is being able to tie your personality to serve your soul, So anyway, it's a little deeper. I'll let you guys listen to it, but yeah, it's just kind of understanding who you are and accepting it. And I think that's part of what we're talking about is understanding your why, understanding your strengths, understanding what you love, your natural talents, your giftings, accepting it. It may not make sense. Right. It may not make sense to other people, but living in the fullness of that and understanding how that will serve your soul and serve others in the process. So I hope I'm not blabbing and speaking off point, but hopefully, No,
I don't think so. In another way of thinking of that is accepting and understanding who you are to the point that you don't need validation for who you are, because you know yourself, you accept yourself, you've made the peace within yourself, so you move from there. So at that point, that ties in a bit to what we were talking about last week, Jane, where I said to you that, that I'm at the point where I really don't care what people think anymore. I've made my peace with it, and I'm just going to keep moving on from there. Because I think sometimes we get stuck, especially for us as Nigerians.
Yeah.
We get stuck because the way we are measured, we were brought up being compared to that person who got first. Do they have 10 heads? Can't you, that is good in a sense, but the other part of that, which should have balanced us out, wasn't necessarily given to us. So we find ourselves living life. Well, I don't know about you guys. For me, I find myself living life sort of unconsciously seeking for other people to validate me, validate who I am, and validate my decisions. Whereas I should be able to have peace in knowing who I am, like myself, all my faults, all my strengths, all my weaknesses, okay? I shouldn't need that validation from people. And for me, that light bulb moment, I told you, Jane, it came around Christmas. When I just woke up and I told my husband, I was like, you know what? I'm a bad wife. I've made peace with it. But if this is what a bad wife looks like, that I love it, and that's the pathway I'm going to continue. That I don't care whoever calls me a good wife or whatever. I am not a wife to them. But each time I look at you, you're smiling, you're happy, you're fulfilled, you're walking in God's purpose. It tells me that as a wife, I am doing what I'm supposed to do. I was not called as a wife to serve your friends and your family members. I was called as a wife to serve you and not those other people. So that's...
I hear you.
That's what I have to say.
I hear you. I hear you about the validation. Which is snapping her fingers. But yeah, I understand what you're saying about the validation, and I know there's no doubt that's what I struggled with. Absolutely. I'm, nervous about what people will think. I've been embarrassed in certain times of people finding out that I'm even into this. Like, Jane, are you serious? This is what she's doing, really? That sort of thing. I know that part of it, and you're right, is liberating ourselves from that. It's a stronghold. It really is. It
Emancipation from mental slavery.
It's limiting.
Yes.
Yes. It's limiting. It's self-imposed too. It's self-imposed because a lot of what draws people to other people is the boldness, the confidence. I mean, we're seeing that, in our government these days, people that may not really be necessarily qualified to do so, but because they're bold, they step out. Before you know it, people start even believing you, So,
branding
but we
101.
do want to be authentic, but I think that we want to be authentic, but be unapologetic about who we are. We all have our backgrounds and all that, and our natural giftings, and it may not fit into other people's picture of what they want from us, what they expect of us, but it is who we are, and just allowing ourselves to be that. That's also a first step, Joma. I agree. And being able to show forth. I mean, I don't want to even start confessing stuff now, but I have hidden away. I've hidden away from social media in different ways because of fear of what other people will think. I opened up Janet's Pick, and I guess, when we release this video, it's all going to be out there. But Janet's
are we releasing this video? Hold on. Are we releasing the video?
We are releasing this video, baby.
I do not have my lipstick on. I don't have my lipstick on. I was eating the entire time. So I'm putting a disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
The lawyer in you.
So many, what do you call it? Technical, or you do tidbits.
No, I only started recording. I only started recording after we got over all the technical stuff. But I'll consult our resident lawyer before I release anything. Maybe snippets, maybe not the whole thing. I forgot that we have a lawyer in the house. I'm sorry. But I hid away from social media for years, for a while, particularly with Janet's Pick. When I opened up the profile in Facebook, I selected a few people to go in and like it. I hid myself away from certain people that know a little bit about some of my past and my history and things like that. And sometimes, and some of those people were even more like family members. That's the funny thing. Sometimes we're afraid of being judged by the people that know us the most, our own family members. I have to admit that.
Especially when we don't immediately get support from them.
Yeah.
Especially when we don't get that initial first support from them immediately. We're often scared, what are they gonna think? What are they gonna say? But the reality of it all is what I'm coming to learn. It might be the light bulb of turning 40 coming on, you know. But what I'm beginning to learn is that I am of no use to anybody unless I'm in that physical, mental, and emotional place where I am happy and I am fulfilled. I will not be happy unless I am fulfilled. Okay?
Yes.
And fulfillment for each and every one of us looks different. Some people feel fulfilled when they buy a house. Some feel fulfilled when they drive a certain kind of car. Some feel fulfilled when they have a certain amount of money. Some feel fulfilled when they have all these three things. Some feel fulfilled when they've attained a level. So for each and every one of us, we need to find what our fulfillment is. Where does it come from? You know, once we figure that out, then we can begin to take baby steps. Like Obi likes to say, my husband would always say, low-hanging fruit. Get the low-hanging fruit first. They're easier, because when you get them, you see that you've been able to pluck them from the tree. You know, it gives you the courage you need to step on the ladder and reach for the next level and grab the next set of low-hanging fruits from that next level. You know, so before you realize it, whereas you looked at the tree and you were like, oh my goodness, there's so many fruits on this tree that I have to pick, but it looks too much. That if you start with the low-hanging fruits, you finish, you'll find out you have the strength, the courage to go for the next. And before you realize it, you're at the top of the tree and you're going like, how did I get here?
How?
You're right. Those low-hanging fruits.
So it's
They're the
like,
easiest to attack.
yes, the easiest to attack. We're raised up in families where we are told to set very high dreams, okay? And nobody really teaches us that failure is a part of success. So when we fail at things, we, rather than learn from it and keep on moving, we tend to beat ourselves up about it.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. And you know what's funny? The next chapter is about fear, chapter 2.
oh my goodness.
So, can you believe that?
Wow.
Isn't that funny? The next chapter, is Fear is Normal. That's the title. Fear is Normal, Overcoming Doubt and Eliminating Excuses. Overcoming Doubt and Eliminating Excuses. So, I'm looking forward to that. And that discussion. You know what, it's segue, right? I'm looking forward to that and that discussion. I really am. I think it addresses some of the things that we've already talked about. It's weird. I think it's going to be very interesting and
very surreal.
Can you believe that? Yeah, I think she did an awesome job, honestly. She really did. Very, very practical. I think she was really writing her own story. I think that's why, we can identify with this. So can we plan to meet next week? It doesn't have to be a Friday. It could be Saturday, whatever time will work best. We can work it through the week. The next best time to meet. We may have one or more people joining us on that. Less technical difficulties. I think I needed to be on a laptop, on a computer, not on my phone as the organizer, as the meeting organizer. I think that's what was causing some of the issues.
Okay.
So thank you. Choma, thank you. Uche, thank you. Sisi wasn't able to join us. Shanita wasn't able to join us, but I'm hoping she'll be back with us the next time.
Yeah.
And
you'll
let's
send the
hold each
link
other to the
for
fire,
this,
okay?
right?
I'm sending the link to that review.
Link for Choma's the action items.
Yes.
Well, the link to this recording, so you can go back and watch it. If I have your permission, I'll release it. If you don't feel comfortable, I'm fine. If there's a way I can crop it, break it up into pieces, I'll see if I can do that too. But at least we'll have that.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
A list of why.
Yes, you can go ahead and release. It's just that some of us don't have our makeup on.
Like, you know, I like this because this is real. I like it. I like your real point. Look, next time I'll come with my hair tied up if you want me. Anything. I'll come with my net on next time with my wrap, you know? So I like it because it's real.
Well put together, makeup on and everything.
my head is not done.
Actually, it's okay to leave it the way it is because people can see it for the authenticity that is included in it and not something that was staged. So that's what we need.
Yes, that's what we want. That's what we want. We want it to be as real as possible. So I love you, sisters. I love you, sisters. I love you so much.
Thank you. Love you. And this gives me the kick in the behind that I need to go ahead and set up that investment club.
Yeah.
Me too. Do it. Oh
no! As soon as I just can't do it while we're on the phone. As soon as we're done, I'm setting up a WhatsApp group, and once I set the WhatsApp group, invite people. It's not gonna be a must, you know. It's optional. Whoever wants. I'd rather have 2 people who are invested in the dream and the idea than 100 people and people are just there taking up space.
Right. Yes. Exactly. And you talked about low-hanging fruit. That's the easiest thing for you to do and the feeling of
WhatsApp group is my low-hanging fruit.
You do that.
So I guess our next thing we can do for next time is set up a goal of what are your low-hanging fruits.
Yes. Let's add that right now. Right now.
Yeah,
I'm
writing it down. What are your low-hanging fruits?
What are low-hanging fruits? And hopefully we can each demonstrate an action. Yes. And hopefully because it's low-hanging, choose one of those and make sure we've done it for the week and be able to speak to that, okay? Since it's low-hanging, few minutes, few seconds, no money involved, we can do that, get that out of the way. And, you know,
so I'm going to set up the WhatsApp group. I'm going to set up the WhatsApp group and start looking at financial books that, what's her name, sounds like she reads quite a bit. So might ask her if she has any recommendations in terms of personal financing and investment. Something that people can read. Yes. She sounds like she reads quite a bit. So what are your low-hanging fruits? The low-hanging fruits might be every month try to read a book or half on finances or whatever, or setting up businesses or whatever. But what are the low-hanging fruits? Writing them down and then tackling one. And we can do this both for the businesses we want to set up, for our dreams and hobbies that we want to, like the project I told you about. You can do low-hanging fruits for yourself as a wife, low-hanging fruits for yourself as a mother, low-hanging fruits for yourself as a sister, as a child, as Janet who works for the IRS, as this person. So in different areas of our life.
I got that down.
So I've done one of my low-hanging fruits for the week.
What is that?
So I've always planned on so I've been doing purely organic feeding for Doran. But I always wanted to make his baby food myself. But I haven't been able to. So yesterday I cooked his pure organic okra soup, finished cooking it with his organic meat and everything. So today I intend to do his organic potatoes and mix up his fruits. So rather than buying the pureed foods and fruits, just make his food myself. I bought the baby maker. So that's my low-hanging fruit as a mommy.
Check.
Wonderful.
Wow. Setting the bar. Okay.
Don't put that food maker in the shelf. It must be used. So yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm already using it. You know, you should have seen me like a chef cooking my son's food yesterday. Cooking it, chopping up everything, all organic. That way I can say I know exactly what Doran is eating.
Good.
Wow.
Very good.
Wow. Nice,
So
nice.
Another thing I wanted to share. I know Jane at some point in the past we have talked about how do you figure out what to feed the family every day. So there's this lady I follow on Instagram, Maki Benson, and it just amazes me the stuff she does. And she said that the key for her is taking out a day during the week. Sometimes it's when she's doing her hair, and she does meal plans for the entire week, sometimes for 2 weeks at a stretch. That way she doesn't have to bother her head about what am I going to cook for the family. She looks at the meal plan, she sees what the plan is, and she keeps it moving.
That's good.
So that might be something good for us to all maybe try, because if we're going to be all we can be, we have to manage our time better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to manage our time better. We have to not feel guilty that our families are losing out, the kids are losing out, our husband. You know, we have to feel good that we're still doing all we can, and the only way to do that is with planning.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
I've noticed that too.
If I'm going to be a CEO of a multinational company bigger than Google, I have to be good at time management.
Amen. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, 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 yes. No. We do. Yes, yes.
So that's another low-hanging fruit, time management.
Yeah.
And Jane, create a WhatsApp group for those of us who have started this already. Create a WhatsApp group too.
Okay, that's one of my low-hanging fruits. Ha ha. I'll do that. Looks like I don't know.
You know, I read mine.
I don't know. So I noticed that I'm going to do that right away, right after this call. So 2:20. This was awesome. Let's do this again. And we'll chat a little bit offline to figure out what our next date, the best time of the either over the weekend probably. Okay. And like I said, there may be a few more people that will be joining us, but I'll form the WhatsApp group, send some of the nuggets from this meeting, send the link, and then also our actionable items, what we're going to each speak to.
And the link for downloading the workbook.
And the link for downloading the workbook, yes.
Okay.
I'll send that. All right,
this
awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
This has been great. Yay!
This has
Okay, everybody. Talk later.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.